My dad died in Michigan about 4 months ago. Does that have anything to do with the fact I'm getting all of these mailings from Mercedes and BMW? Yeah. Yeah, they found out you're getting a whole bunch of money and they want to be first in line to help you spend it. Isn't that nice of them? I'm going to go through what I call the 4 big downsides of probate. And I admit it, I'm stealing this from one of the gurus, Henry W. Apps III, the guy who wrote that book that I ended up getting at the mall while I was still in law school. Again, the book is The Living Trust. And again, if you stay till the end, that information is on the slides. It's still available on Amazon, but we'll give you that information. But these are the 4 big downsides with a little bit of tweaking from what I've kind of found. Probate is expensive. It generally costs somewhere between 4 and 10% of an estate. Now, where did I get those numbers? This was something that was done as a survey by AARP many years ago, and it really made the probate system and all of its costs seem completely outrageous, and then somehow or another they never did that kind of report again. But yeah, somewhere between 4 and 10%. Now, the other thing, some states actually have a statutory rates of attorney's fees. It's a percentage of the assets that end up in probate. Sometimes, often, that can be about 5%. So it's completely based on the assets. And I can tell you one case, and it's still kind of going on. All the COVID stuff, it's a mess, and the paperwork is ridiculous. But there was a substantial account in California that we didn't know about until we had to poke around and actually find it. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the bank wouldn't give us any information, even though we had the executor, because that court process had a probate process specific for that state because the asset was in a bank in California. Go get a California attorney. Okay, so we got a California attorney. They ended up, for the work that they did, and there was some work, and I'll admit it was not made any easier with all of the restrictions that were going around. But in the end, they probably made more than we did because the court says this is the statutory rate. That attorney got that money as their fee, and that's it. So, yeah, look, if you figure 5%, that's a lot. Now, when you talk to the beneficiaries and you go, well, hey, as an attorney, I'll handle this for you, and it's only 5%. Well, they're going, well, okay, we get 95%. We don't have to do anything? All right. And it just kind of happens. Now, my planning clients, 5% of everything I have is going to get eaten up by this process. And again, largely that's the attorney's fees. If you think about it, if you work for 40 years, 2 of those years from your profits of your labor for 2 of those years ends up having to go to this estate process because it went into probate, that just doesn't sit right with me, and it doesn't sit right with a lot of my clients. All right, so that first downside is it's costly. Second downside, it takes time. Look, delays of between 6 months and a year and a half, yeah, that happens. Lately, it's been a lot more, again, because of restrictions and personnel being out and things like that. 2 years for probate, Yeah, that's no big deal. 3 years? Yeah, it happens. More? Yeah, it happens. So it takes a lot longer than some of the alternatives. All right, so the third big downside, it's more open to being contested. So what exactly does that mean, and why is that so? All right, North Carolina and a lot of other states, if a will goes into probate and there's a probate estate, and someone says, you know what, I don't like what's going on, I'm going to challenge the will. I'm going to contest it. Okay, there's a process within the probate court for someone to raise an objection. And the kind of overriding theory behind all of this is we need to get this right. No matter how much the estate has to pay various attorneys in this contest, we need to make sure we get this right. So if a disgruntled beneficiary or someone who thinks they deserve something and they aren't getting it, they can go to an attorney and say, hey, I don't like what's going on here. Okay, let's go ahead and contest it. They got a really decent chance that the court's going to pay their fees. Why not roll the dice? Now, again, this may vary state to state, but why not? All right, if you look at it from another perspective now, what if it's in, say, a revocable living trust and it's avoided probate? Now suddenly it's not in that probate process. I don't like what I'm getting under the trust. I'm going to go see an attorney. I'm going to sue. They go to the attorney. Well, okay, we could try this and we could try that. We need a $10,000 retainer. Whoa, no, you don't get paid until I get paid. Oh, no. They're not going to be that speculative because now they're on the other side of the courthouse. They're having to file a lawsuit. And in civil court, regular civil court as opposed to probate court, getting attorney's fees paid for, it's tough. It doesn't happen automatically. So an attorney isn't going to bring a lawsuit unless they're confident and they're getting paid. And one thing I've kind of found out over the years, and this is more of a personal thing, people who want something that they're not entitled to rarely want to put up their own money to try to get it. So yeah, probate makes things more open to being contested. Fourth big downside, and this is more of a concern every single year, loss of privacy. Probate is a court process. Therefore, all those filings that list all the assets, their values on the date of death, all the proof that goes along with it, the names, ages, and addresses of all the beneficiaries, all of that stuff, that's part of the court record, and anyone can get to it. And it's been several years since I've actually seen this, but there are marketing people who will go into the files, once or twice a month and check out the bigger estates, see who's going to be getting money, and they start writing down the names and addresses and put them on their marketing hit list. Gosh, it's definitely more than a decade ago, but I had a client, and I always remember this. He called me and said, Jeff, I have a Friday afternoon question for you. That was his way of saying, look, I'll ask you this question if you promise not to bill me. All right, fine, shoot, what was the question? My dad died in Michigan about 4 months ago. Does that have anything to do with the fact I'm getting all of these mailings from Mercedes and BMW? Yeah, they found out you're getting a whole bunch of money and they want to be first in line to help you spend it. Isn't that nice of them? So all that information ends up being out there. Now, the darker side of that is identity theft, people filing false bills. If they go into an estate and they see this woman in her 80s or 90s passed on, she's got 3 kids, but all of them are in different states far away, well, why not submit $5,000 for an unpaid plumbing bill? They'll probably just pay it and assume it happened. So that stuff does happen, and the loss of privacy can really impact things. And I hope you found that information useful. If you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do that. That helps us out quite a bit. And as I always say, stay safe, plan ahead, and enjoy life. And whatever you do, make it a great day. Thank you.